Hello and welcome to the SoundLab podcast interviews unedited. On today's show, interviews with Ziggy Alberts, Danny Addison, Ruby Duff Vower and Alexisonfire. Now, Alexisonfire was taken at Slam Dunk Festival 2022. All the others are brand new, and we're going to kick off with Ziggy Alberts, who has a new album out. So, Ziggy Alberts, how are you?
I'm good. I am early, which is the rarest sentence in my world.
Well, yes, absolutely. It's not something that musicians tend to do, be up at this time. But you are on tour, which we'll get to a little bit later on. But I want to talk about a new single of yours that we've been playing called "New Love." Tell us a bit about the single, first of all.
Yeah, so I wrote this song. It's the title track from the New Love album that was released in, I think, sometime in February. And yeah, I remember starting writing the song in a hotel room in Birmingham. And it was a real sweet chapter because I think I finally, at that point, I was struggling to write songs about exactly how I felt or how things were. And it was a very cathartic moment to simply say how I felt with that song in the moment, and it helped spark, I guess, a whole album. And and it was a great turning point in my personal life too. So yeah, very thankful for that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And the sounds that you've made with this new record of yours, is it the sounds you wanted, or is it kind of how it turned out in the studio?
No, it's pretty much how I wanted it. I think to be immensely transparent, mixing and mastering is really tricky because it's such a sliding scale. And for listeners, I'm assuming who would know what this is, but if maybe not, like the process of recording and then how you mix and master a song for it to be available online. How do you do that? And the question is, you have to like reference how you want it to sound, what you think's a quality sound, and then also now all our songs are ending up in playlists, and there's like a real sound war happening regarding loudness.
Mm.
And so, long story short, it's so impressionable your ears, you know. So you always listen back to record and you think maybe I would mix it differently. But what I'm immensely proud of is that two of us managed to make the album simple and minimalistic, and I think that was my real vision, to keep it with a spirit of minimalism, and we achieved that. And that's difficult when you've got two creative people in a room. So it could always be, hindsight is everything, but I'm immensely happy that I went for a minimalist record and we achieved that.
Good, good. And I'm sure you wrote more than what made it onto this record. What happens to those now? Do you consider them again down the line, or is it a case of starting afresh when the time comes?
That's a great question. I always just typically chuck them into, I got something I call the song bank, and it's like my song bank that I just have. Usually I actually record on I'm on my phone with a Zoom, otherwise I'd show you, but I just usually record straight into my phone, like little demos or incessant melodies at awkward times where you're that person singing somewhere, and they turn into songs. And I mean, one of the songs on this record called Confessions, on the B side, I wrote that in 2015, and 10 years later, here we are. And so I have a real trust in just write the song, and the story may not be one to tell for another decade, but you just write it. And yeah, I do think maybe the more records I get into, you get more and more critical in a positive way. Like you go, is this song, is it vulnerable enough? Is it dynamic enough? Is it true? And you get more and more. I mean, I think I'm like seven. I think I'm 7 albums in or something, like maybe like 100 songs out in the world, which is bizarre to me. And so you get more and more critical, and the ones you love definitely shine. But you just don't know. You got to keep them and value them. And when the day comes, it might be for a sync, or it might be because you've just the story needs to be told at a certain time. And yeah, so I just stick them back in the song bank. And when we get into a new album time, you've got songs you're excited about, but if you maybe are missing some numbers, you're like, okay, what would fit, and that was the case with this last new Love record, is the song Confessions just finally made sense for an album in this time.
Yeah, and you mentioned 7 records in now. How have you and how has the music evolved since the start through until now?
I wish I was less mad, like as in mad as a cut snake. So I just like it'd be nice if in this time I would feel more sane. But and you have these moments where you're like, I'm more sane now than I was. And then you have moments you're like, that's absolutely not the case. So how has it evolved? I think my I think my I think my taste in I think my taste is always evolving. I'm always going to typically be a singer-songwriter at this juncture, and I always try and branch off into where I'm inspired with like a subgenre. For example, like there's a record prior called Dancing in the Dark, and I intentionally hyper auto-tuned the backing vocals as just a stylistic choice. I was just like, yeah, that's what I want to do, and a particularly I'm going to use like a dance sub bass, like an 808, instead of something that is perhaps more typical of the genre. Um, oh man, it's just three years into world tour. This is my third year of world touring. We're about to start. I'm here in Cork, Ireland, and about to start 30. I got 35 shows in 47 days. And so I think probably how I've evolved is I've naturally evolved to need to be more disciplined. And I think there's a small risk that you become perhaps slightly less artistic, or not less artistic, but you become less random because you have to contain yourself a bit more, and there is a small risk in that. But I feel like the discipline has allowed me to be more present at shows, provide the best show I can every night to people. And frankly, I just don't know how I'd survive another way. So I think I'm more disciplined now, full stop, across my personal life. But that's what I'm inspired by, and I think as long as we're being disciplined to create better lives for ourselves, and hopefully play better shows for the people, and if that gives me an opportunity to be a better artist, then I'm keen to do it. And it's just being mindful to not let your to not we got enough computers. We don't need more computers. Let's stay human. But yeah, the discipline's been necessary and a great evolution, and it's made my life enjoyable in what would otherwise just be a complete and utter fucking chaos world.
Yeah, no, I totally understand where you're coming from. And you mentioned you're on tour at the moment. Ireland and UK, you've got the rest of Europe coming up as well, and you've got some shows back home in Australia and New Zealand to finish off the tour. I bet you can't wait to be doing some more shows.
Yeah, it's I mean, pretty special run. I haven't done. There's a bunch of dates in Ireland here that I haven't done. A bunch of dates in the UK I've never played. Playing my first headline at the Royal Albert Hall, which sold out, which was amazing. So a real that's going to be a real we did it moment. I've already bumped into a bunch of fans who are attending that show from all around Europe and UK. So that'll be cool because I mean I never would have thought. I started my career here, and I mean, my first show in London was in like a Turkish cafe, Turkish cafe with people sitting on the floor, to like 50 people in Hackney. And, so to come to this year to do the Royal Albert Hall, to like be able to, I guess, do that with these wonderful people who have attended shows the last 10 years. Yeah, that's going to be a real we did it moment, for the community of people that um I'm very fond of that attend the shows. And going to do my first arena back at home, which is going to be cool. I finished my last show of the year, and which kind of wraps up 3 years of world touring. Is going to be my first ever arena show, so that'll be a great way to close a chapter of my life and welcome the new.
Yeah, absolutely. I bet you can't wait for that show, especially. And are you hoping to add any more dates in, or do you think this is kind of it for the rest of the year now?
I think I'm done. I think we by the end of it, it will be over 100 shows
Mm.
in less than 6 months, as far as like like I said, maybe in North America we did 35 shows in 51 days, and this is 35 shows in 47 days. And yeah, so we're like, well, and I did a whole bunch of regional dates at the start of the year in Australia, like probably 25 or 30. And then the end of the year shows. And so I think it's maybe like it might be over 100 shows in a calendar year, but for people listening, I think within 6 months of when I'm doing the shows, which is I've never done that many shows in such a short period of time. So, um, however, I'm always up for a random little pop-up gig, and so you may find me in these times. I feel I might be never say never because I always end up putting I say no, and then last tour I think I put on two random shows anyway in new cities. So just stay tuned and come along for the ride.
Yeah, sounds good to me. What does 2026 what's it gonna hold for you?
So, I can't say too much, but being the incessant workaholic that I am, I may or may not have in the summer been recording in between world tours, and so it is too early to say, but I suspect there may be new music in the work. It feels like it feels like maybe the best stuff I've ever done, which is not to be taken for granted because often I think the best work you do is when you just start because it's the most unalterated, unfiltered, unimpression. No one's made an impression on you. And so, yeah, I'm just really I don't know what 2026 looks like, but it feels like it's going to be a really big change in my life. And I think for better, but I don't know, I don't have the destiny ball, but it feels like it's like everything we're on the precipice of like something really beautiful. I don't know what it is, but I'm just gonna stay healthy and keep charging.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. And you don't just write and release music because I found this that you sent me a while ago, which is a poetry book. Are you going to be doing that some more?
Absolutely. I think I'm actually just looking. I've got this little people who may not have a screen, but I've got this little thing called a Remarkable. No, I'm not sponsored. I don't have a discount code, but it's like a digital notepad. And I've traveled with that for 7 years. And so I'm always just working on poetry or like I guess like small moments from life on the road. And we actually incorporate a lot of the poetry now in the show. Like we're using these poetry interludes, and sometimes we're pairing the poetry with old instrumental versions of tracks that I'm not playing live. And it's become fundamental. It's become something that's like, and I also feel like it's relatively unique as far as not, I mean, it's nothing I've seen other singer-songwriters doing. So that's nice because we're all playing three chords. So like that's good. And I'm just really passionate about it. And so yeah, I'm pleased that you got a copy and I love it. It's like music is like this outward expression and poetry is like this inward reflection. And so I feel they're a great balance together. And I just want to I'd love to keep incorporating more of it. And yeah, I'd love to keep incorporating more of it to the show and into my career.
And I hope you enjoyed the interview there with Ziggy Alberts to talk about his new record and more. Now, we are all over social media, so come and find us at The Sound Lab, yes, on all the socials. And you can also check out the website, thesoundlabuk.co.uk. So while you go and find us on all the socials and give us some follows, we're going to play you our next interview from Danny Addison. He's got a new record out as well, and we had a chat with him all about it. So, Danny Addison, how are you?
Good, thanks. How you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. So after this interview, we'll be playing a single of yours called Stains. Tell us a bit about the single, first of all.
Yeah, so it's the fourth single from my debut album, Porcelain, and the inspiration behind the track really was um, it's sort of about trying to make your way through a turbulent time, and sort of using metaphor like a wasteland. It's like trying to get from one side to the other, and how the people in your life can be the difference between you getting through that time and not. And this can be, like an internal struggle or an external struggle. It's not really anything specific to me. Although it doesn't have to be. I mean, it was inspired by a turbulent time. But it doesn't, I like to think that anyone who listens to it can sort of relate to that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that is off your debut record, which is out now. Porcelain is the name of the album. For those who've not had chance to listen to it, tell us a bit about it.
Yes, I mean it's a 11 track album and it kind of is the culmination of everything I've released in the last 5 years. I guess the overall kind of theme of the album or concept is uh, reinvention and wearing the cracks that life brings and not trying to, cover them up and how sometimes those cracks can make, life more beautiful and you appreciate things a little bit more. But yeah, I like to think of the album as being quite an uplifting album, even though a lot of the songs don't sound that way. I think the messages behind the songs are generally positive. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, good. And the sound that you've made with the record, is it the sound you wanted, or was it kind of how it turned out in the studio?
Oh yeah, no, it's absolutely how I wanted, and I think a big part of that was it was all sort of recorded beforehand with just me and my brother, and then through the label I'm with now, we were able to re-record a lot of the stuff, and we brought in two new producers who, really great musicians who offered their amazing skills, and yeah, that allowed us to just take them that extra level. So yeah, no, absolutely. I sort of couldn't have imagined it would have sounded as good as it did. It does when we first started working on it. But I think that's just the joy of collaboration and having fresh ears on a thing. You can't always step outside of your own uh, creation or whatever, and feel like an audience member hearing it for the first time. So you need sometimes that fresh perspective.
Mm. And I'm sure you wrote more than what made it onto the record. What happens to those now? Do you consider them again down the line, or is it a case of starting again when the time comes?
Oh yeah, no, definitely considering them down the line. I mean, basically have a second album written. It's just a case of getting it recorded properly. And I mean, I think I heard this. Have you seen the film Weapons?
I have not, no.
The director of that film. Someone asked him about sort of his advice for young filmmakers. I heard this really recently, and it was something like you do the film in prep. So before he shot the film, he went to all the locations and did all the shots before, you know, doing the real ones. And I definitely think in my case that I really relate to that process because that's how I had done it. And in my room, and then my brother had mixed, and we did a lot of remote sessions. So that when we got into the studio, we'd kind of been through that process. But it allowed us to kind of um, just focus on the more fun stuff, and stay kind of energized throughout the week. Um, and I feel, it worked really well. I was really happy with how that worked, and I'm kind of keen to explore that process a little bit more with the second album.
Mm. Do you think that's something that you'll do throughout your career, or do you think there might be a point when you stop doing that and concentrate more of doing that sort of stuff actually when the time comes?
Um, yeah, I think it's probably something I'll always come back to, but I'm also I think, yeah, I'm really keen on trying to go into a studio and just see what happens on the day. It's just the risk is a lot higher. Maybe the potential rewards are higher as well. But I think, just with the cost of studio time and, yeah, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So I tend to like to know how it's going to be in some way. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm, never say never. I think I will always stay open to that. Um, Tom, my brother, who I work with on everything, he's a little bit more. Let's just go into the studio, see what happens, you know. I think I'm a little bit more uh conservative when it comes to, you know, that process. But yeah, I'd be up for trying, sure.
Good, good. I'd like to talk about the writing side of things as well. So for you, how do tracks normally start off?
Um, I mean, they normally they sort of have to start with knowing exactly what I'm going to say, which sounds pretty obvious, but unless I have a really clear idea in my head about what I want to say, I found just through ex trial and error really, um, that the lyrics just won't come. It's almost like, you know, sometimes, you know, people ask, oh, is it lyrics or music first? And actually, it's neither. It's having that really clear idea about what I want to say, and then the lyrics or music. It sort of depends on the style of song or kind of the mood on the day, what comes first. But first thing is, yeah, having that clear idea, and I guess sometimes saying something that, you know, a lot of people feel, but you know, in a maybe slightly different way, or a way that's really personal to me. Um, yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, it does. And people will want to see you doing some live shows. What's your plan for doing some shows this year?
So I really, really want to do some more live shows, and, you know, head up to Manchester where I was for quite a time. Want to go to Birmingham, go to Bristol, and then of course London. Brighton would be great as well. A few friends down in Brighton who I'd want to get to support as well. Or you know, do co-headline. I'm not really fussed. I just want to play new places, you know,
Hmm.
and sort of share this record because I'm just so proud of it. Um, and I think for a long time I've been in the kind of making of the music mentality, and yeah, this is something I talk to other creators about quite a lot. Is that kind of switching to different parts of your brain, um, and now I'm switching to the live part, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and what do you think 2026 is going to hold for you?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. It every year has been quite different. I mean, I wasn't working on an album a year ago. Didn't think it would be coming as fast as it has, and now it's here, and you know, the music videos are there, and it's yeah, it's really hard to say. One thing I would say is just I want to do a lot more collaboration, because a lot of the time I've been you know, working, it's just been my name on the songs, you know, and I'm really keen to, you know, release maybe an EP or two with other artists that I'm, you know, fans of. Something I've always kind of dreamed about doing. But I think with putting this album together, it's taught me a lot about songwriting and the process of getting a sort of a song idea to its final form. And it's kind of given me a bit more confidence to sort of, yeah, to meet up with another artist and make that happen. Because I think previously I've perhaps been, yeah, I've been a bit more timid about, you know, stepping into that room, and you know, you're kind of what's the, you know, it's quite a vulnerable, you have to make yourself quite vulnerable to do it. So yeah, no, I'm really kind of, I feel there was kind of a switch in my brain through this process, and I'm feeling really sort of that's changed. And I'm ready to do more of that.
And when it comes to a potential collaborating approach, obviously you're not going to say any names, but do you have names in mind as to who you would potentially go to and ask to see if they were interested?
Oh yeah, no, I do have names. I mean, friends, an artist I'm working with right now, actually, AK Patterson, Beth Morgan. There's a guy called Luke DeCisio who I love, who I really want to work with. We were chatting earlier in the year about doing stuff together, but then there are other artists. You know, it's kind of difficult to know how kind of big to go. You know, I think with, you know, if I messaged, you know, someone with 2 million followers, would I get a response? I mean, maybe. That's kind of the weird thing about social media, right? Is that you just don't know. And I think it's I really, you know, even though I use it a lot, I still underestimate the power that it can have. And um, you know, ultimately if someone likes what you do, and um they're keen on collaboration too, then I sort of think, why not? There's no reason why that wouldn't happen. So yeah, no, I mean, there are names that I have and I'm working with right now, but um, yeah, I think I'm just going to be a bit more bold about reaching out to people, and yeah.
And I hope you enjoyed the interview there with Danny Addison to talk about his new record and more. Now, if you're listening to us on Spotify, well, you'll be pleased to hear we also have a Spotify playlist coming your way called Fresh. It brings you 150 brand new up-and-coming artists that we feel like you might just enjoy. And if you want to check that out, on Spotify, search Fresh by The Sound Lab or head to the website thesoundlabuk.co.uk and click on the Fresh playlist button. Now, while you go and save that playlist to listen to a little later on, we've got our next interview from Ruby Duff. She's just released a brand new single and we had a chat with her at Truck Festival just a few weeks ago. So, Ruby Duff, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, not too bad. You're here at Truck Festival. How's your festival been so far?
It's been incredible. We just actually got a buggy ride with nothing but thieves.
Nice, yeah.
Which is a major bonus. So only been here for a couple of hours, and that's already my top highlight, I would say.
Good. And looking forward to the day ahead, the weekend ahead.
Yes, definitely. Now that we've performed, I feel like we can just relax and breathe and enjoy it. Good. So yeah.
Hoping to catch some bands while you're here?
Yeah, I really want to see, I'm sorry this is so cliche, but Natasha Bedingfield. I've been a fan since day dot. CMAT, of course, female-led. Yeah. Love that. Nothing But Thieves, of course, and Blossoms. Yeah.
Nice. Sounds like a good weekend.
What about
planned.
you? Are you?
I'm not sticking around.
No.
I'm not too far from here, so I'll be travelling back and forth.
Nice.
Just to do this bit, but this is the bit I enjoy, so it's not a problem
this is quite
at all.
nice, this bit, actually.
Yeah, it
Get
is.
to relax.
Yeah, meet loads of great people, so
you're in
love
a
it.
cool spot, actually, right by main stage.
I like to set up and sit and just chill and wait for people to come to me. That's the way I do it. Yeah.
You come to me and the job's done.
Exactly. Now you released an EP not too long ago. Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, so it's called Where Do Odd Socks Go? Because I had a really random collection of songs, which I just thought I needed to get them off my chest. I was previously signed to a label, and since going independent, I just wanted to get these songs out there, but there was no real cohesive line in them, and one day I thought, where do all my odd socks go? And then I thought, well, where do all my odd songs go? And it was in this EP. So, yeah.
Nice.
Pretty mixed bag.
How's it feeling now to not be part of a label, to be doing it all yourself?
It's pretty liberating. I was very scared at the start, but I think times have changed now where independent artists have so much more support by social media, by fans. So it's been really encouraging, and I feel like I've definitely found myself more. I feel like I've always had a good understanding of who I am as an artist, but even more so now.
Yeah, good. And looking to the future, you've got more songs on the way?
Yes, I've got too many songs. My manager actually was just grilling me because there's 115 he hasn't heard.
Wow.
Just SoundCloud, but I write for a lot of other people, so I've been taking my time deciding which are my songs for me to release in a bigger body of work, and songs that are for other people and other projects. Yeah,
good. When it comes to writing, how do tracks normally start off for you?
You know what, this question I kind of hate, because I feel like I never have the right answer for it, because to me they just land in my brain, and I know that's so rubbish, because I should say, oh, I read this poem and it inspired me, but it's like word vomit. Just comes out my mouth and I decide that it's good.
Yeah. Nice. And tell us a bit about the lyrics side of things as well. How do you kind of create the lyrics?
Sure. So I usually just write out what's natural to me, because sometimes the first thing that comes to your brain is the best thing. But then I kind of go back with a fine-tooth comb and I'm like, okay, this might make sense to me, but would it make sense to the listener? And I always like songs that have multiple meanings. So I try to change my lyrics so that people can have their own interpretations. Yeah.
And there's lots of different components to writing a song. How easy do you find to kind of combine them all together?
Oh, in terms of
kind of lyrics, the music, the instrumentation.
I feel like it's like my brain. It's like everything, everywhere, all at once. It just kind of, I would start usually with the piano and the lyrics that come naturally, and then I build from that with the production. I use my live band a lot, so I call them my party band. And I use them on my recordings, and they bring such a party vibe. And I think There's no right or wrong way, I would say, with writing, but for me, I have to working it kind of live first before getting it down into, a structure for release.
Nice. And you've been doing some shows. How have they been?
Yeah, it's been amazing. We just did besides Truck, we did our headline at the Lexington, which was incredible. It was full room, it was good vibes. We had a drag queen support us, Bev, who we love. Shout out to Bev. It was just a really incredible sort of mood. It was the same week as Glastonbury, so that's a bit tough. But I'm pretty happy with the turnout, and just seeing my audience grow this year has been really special to me. And I mean, even being here, I was only here because I was voted by the public to play here, so it feels really nice that I've got the backing of the people.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully many people came to see you as well.
Yeah, it was really good. We played quite an early slot at 1:45, but we had an amazing turnout, and just the people that did come as well, like they were true fans, they knew the lyrics, and we love them.
Yeah, good. And hopefully you've got some more shows to come.
Yes. We're doing Reaper Barn in September, which is in Germany, and we have just got a support slot that I don't think I can announce yet. So keep your eyes peeled.
But will that be the tour run or just kind of a one-off?
That would be a one-off, and that's in August. We came off the back of a tour run with the Hoosiers.
Mm-hmm.
Again, shout out Hoosiers. They were amazing to be supporting. What a band. There might be some stuff later on in the year, but I'm actually recording at the moment for my album. So trying to juggle everything.
Yeah.
The live, the writing, the album,
And with all those songs you've got written, how are you going to kind of narrow it down to create this album?
Yeah, that's really a good question, because that is the hard part. I've been choosing songs that have been resonating with me in terms of making empowerment, making me feel empowered, which is really selfish, but I'm like, what do I want to feel? So I'm choosing songs that are on the edge of empowerment, feeling good, picking yourself back up. We all need those songs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you must have some aspirations of things you want to achieve. What's one thing you really want to do?
Yeah, I mean, when you get a taste for things like today, the market stage is such a big cap, and it's a huge stage as well. But when you get a taste for that, you're like, I want more. So live is my number one. I love playing live. So I just hope the album will get a lot more opportunities.
And I hope you enjoyed the interview there with Ruby Duff from Truck Festival 2025. Now, if you are loving all of today's interviews, then you can hear them all again in an edited form on our international radio show. It brings you all of today's interviews alongside a live session and loads of new music for 2 hours of fun stuff. If you want to check that out, head to our website, thesoundlabuk.co.uk, and click International Radio Show. So while you go and save that show to listen to later on, you're going to be filled up with stuff to do today, aren't you? We're going to play you our next interview and our final new interview, and it comes from Vower, who we had a chat with at 2000 Trees Festival, and this is what they had to say. So, Vower, how are you?
Very well, how are you?
Yeah, good. Not too bad. Back at Trees for another year.
Yeah.
How's
Glad
it
to
feel
be
back?
here as well, yeah. I mean, I feel like everyone says it, but it's the best festival.
It is, in my opinion.
There's not any other way of saying it in my book, I don't think.
Hands down.
It's the fucking best.
Yeah. Been
Love
able to catch any bands?
No, sir.
No, I've had to. Well, to be fair, we played in Nottingham last night, so we played on the Wednesday Forest stage, and then Nottingham last night with Employed to Serve, and then came back to play main stage today with Employed to Serve. Actually, they played after us.
Yeah, killed it as well.
So we haven't spent a lot of time at the festival.
Yeah, it's a shame because we always love hanging out, but this time it just was a bit different with having to leave and come back. So and for other various reasons. But we love this festival, man. We'd love to come and actually check out friends' bands and things like that. But different things happen. Hey.
Nice. And once you finish here this weekend, what's the plan next?
That's a good point. Well, we're finishing off tracking some bits and pieces for another release we got lined up, and then sort of gearing up for tour in November. Really, that's the main thing. We're playing some other festivals as well. Like we're playing Out Tangent, but mainly it's I think there's a lot of back of house figuring stuff out. Writing songs, figuring out how to release those songs.
Yeah. Tell us about the tour that's coming up then.
Well, it's November, like mid-November to like very early December. It's like 2.5 weeks, something like that. Across the UK, bunch of new places, some bits in mainland Europe as well. Bigger venues in cities we've already played, and just I don't know, like I'm so stoked.
We're really stoked. It's new cities, like Josh said, bigger venues, and it just feels nice to, I don't know, just go for it, just give it a shot, and just keep kind of growing as a band, because I think you've got to, after the set today, it feels like that's the kind of stage we want to be on eventually, like, consistently, that, and the sound kind of wants that sort of stage, so you just got to kind of believe it before it happens, I guess, and just try and hope it works out. We'll see.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and with more new music on the way, do you know what direction you're wanting to take it in?
I mean, it's never really a conscious decision. It's like the songs need what they need, and we give them that. So like I say, there's no conscious decision of direction. It's just we start writing and go with it. Quite fluid in that way, I think. There's no aim. There's no goal. I mean, obviously, it's like write fucking cool songs, but that's about the only aim that we've got, I think.
Sow the riff seed, and then maybe a tree will grow. But we'll see.
The mantra is big riffs, large hooks, and that's about it.
Yeah. And when it comes to the writing side of things, how do tracks normally start off for you guys?
It's usually Rabir and Joe, like guitar-based kind of stuff. Rabir will obviously program in a rough idea of what the drums will be like. Yeah. Usually pretty accurate to your style of playing as well.
He knows me well. He's a drummer too. It's got to the point now where he'll get a demo down and I'm like, well, that's great. I'll just add a little bit of my own kind of style onto it. But for the most part, they'll send us a pretty fully formed demo, and we'll get hyped on it. And then
they'll just go into the riff cave for like an afternoon and come out with the best song we've ever heard. It's just ridiculous.
But do you have much influence if you feel like it needs something?
To be fair, early on, we would get in a room and play a lot more, but this sort of format is way more. I don't know. It just works a bit quick. It's quicker.
There's never anything to push back on. Like, it's always so fully formed for the most part, and like it's. I obviously what I do is very much like. It's my own ideas of bouncing off Rabir to just like sort of sheepdog it into the right pen, so to speak. But for the most part, it all just comes out quite naturally, and that's why I think we're in the position we're in, and why we're enjoying it as much as we are. Is because it's never been a chore. There's never been any like against the grain.
Yeah,
it's very like I say, fluid and very. Easy. I don't like natural.
Yeah. It just comes out, and we just enjoy writing music together, and then we go off a vibe. That demo will be sent, and then it'll be like, oh, that's sick. I'll get excited. I'll go play drums, and Josh will be like, right, I'm already writing lyrics like on a dog walk or whatever, just like literally out there, just thinking about it. So it's a nice, natural way of doing things, and it feels good, man.
Do you think you'll always continue doing it that way?
For now, yeah. I mean, it works. If we can get more time together to like get in a room, then absolutely. But as we said before, there's a lot of stuff that we're doing, back of house stuff to make the songs. There's a lot of things you do nowadays as a band that, we'd like to spend more time not doing, I think. But also, it's just one of those things. Like, we just have to write music and then promote it as well and do it a lot ourselves. But at the moment, it works and we like it. So it works really well.
The only difficulty for me is that I'm based in Nottingham and the rest of the guys are in Brighton. So I think if I was closer to where the writing's happening, like the songwriting's happening, then I might have more influence over that. But that'll happen in time.
Yeah.
Like, planning on moving south at some point. So back south, should I say, to the motherland. Sorry. Wokiiiiing.
And I hope you enjoyed the interview there with Vower from 2000 Trees Festival 2025. And this is the part of the show where we like to throw back in time. And we're doing so back to Slam Dunk Festival 2022, where we had a chat with a headliner called Alexisonfire. This is what they had to say, so we're going to go back then to chat to them. So, Alexisonfire. How are you?
I'm great, man, in the beautiful backdrop of Hatfield.
Yeah.
On our second day of Slam Dunk, and so far being greeted in the UK has been. I'm just overwhelmed every time. You know, we take big blocks of time off, and then when we return, it seems to be more mayhem, more crazy. Every single time. And last night's show up north in Leeds was just, I don't know, I'm beside myself. It's a great time,
Good. And you got to play some new tracks, I'm sure.
Yes, we're starting to integrate a few new tracks,
Good. We've been playing Sans Soleil as our recent single. What can you tell us about that track?
Well, that, I mean, I can say that in the last 6 or 7 years, whenever there was time, we'd get together in Toronto. And we'd always have these like loose bits and pieces of songs kind of floating and maybe like, you know, put on the back shelf. And so the riff of the chorus Dallas had for years. And it took shape when we, you know, I guess maybe about 16 months ago got together and started shaping Sans Soleil. The lead that Wade does on that song is another idea that he had from years ago, and it just so happened they kind of married themselves together. Lyrically, it's you know, we're at this point in our career where we're very, very, like, you know, being a band for 20 years, there's certainly a deep connection, but we seem to have opened up another trap door to our connection, and it's deeper. And we're not so individually precious to our own kind of individual parts right now. And so Wade wrote the lyrics for Dallas to sing, you know, which is unique. Maybe in the past, you know, whoever writes the lyrics, they sing the song kind of thing. And it's interesting the way this song eventually was mixed, because it was a very kind of like Sunny Day Real Estate, kind of like chord heavy kind of like... you know, melodic song, but by the time we sort of like mixed it, and we had our good friend who plays with us now, Matt Kelly, he's playing organ, pedal steel, keys, Juno all over the record, and we found a way for him to tastefully do that for our live show. But we kind of utilize his input on Sans Soleil as more of the foreground, and we kind of like, it has this kind of like soft polish over it, and so now it's, I don't know, got a bit of like a tone of The Cure or something like that,
Okay, nice. Yeah, so the new record drops at the end of June.
Yes.
How much of a comparison does this have to your previous records, or have you switched things up a little bit?
Well, it's still Alexisonfire at the end of the day. Whenever we get in a room together, we're not really writing for anyone else but ourselves. It's the first full-length record in 13 years, and in that time, a lot of us individually have been busy with a lot of different projects and doing different studio work. Wade's done a lot of music for behind the scenes for movies and video games, and played with Gallows, and you know, has his Doom's Children and stuff going on right now. George playing with Dead Tired, Jordan like playing for years with Billy Talent, and obviously Dallas doing his City in Color. And a lot of different studio experience, working with different producers, different engineers. And I would say with this record, we just, as a collective, we produced the record ourselves. And the songwriting process, like I said, there's a lot of ideas floating around from years ago. But it's a very dynamic record. I mean, most of y'all have heard 3 tracks by now, I'm sure. And all 3 of those tracks are different from one another. And more to be revealed. And the songs left to be heard are quite different from what you've already heard. But it works as a body of work. And I think the approach of, specifically vocally, between Dallas, Wade, and George, kind of finding a place to sing in unison, almost as one. George sings a lot more on this record as well. At the end, it still is Alexisonfire, and there is still some barn burners and some rippers, and George gets gnarly. But it is, as much as it can be chaotic at times, it's very simple as well. Like, I mean, from our first record, it was, you know, a myriad of just parts kind of thrown at the wall, not really knowing what we were going for. Not to say that we exactly knew what we were going for with this record, but I think with more experience and perhaps age, we found a way to just have more simple, impactful songwriting and well-crafted, curated songs. And we're of the mindset, I'm of the mindset that less is more, specifically with playing bass as well. No need to be noodling up on the 12th fret, high on the G string. I'll do that once in a while, but like, no, like, just hold it down, find that glue with the with our drummer, and just hold down the fort. No need to be the lead guitarist, bassist. But no, the less is more is certainly more impactful. But we experimented with a lot of pedal steel, a lot of keys, like I said, and a lot of slide guitar, in a way that works with our sound. So it's a new direction for us, but at the same time, it's definitely still us.
So with such a big gap between kind of records being, what was it, 13 years, did you say?
Yes.
Was it COVID, you would say, that brought you back together to do this, or was it something else?
You know what? Honestly, it was a very troublesome, toilsome 2.5 years for everyone on this planet. It was definitely no joke. And it was trying times, and I'm very grateful that I had another creative outlet to focus, my passion, my mind, and like attach myself to something that was meaningful. And I would say that it was due to the lockdown.
Yeah.
We were all forced to pause, and that did. If there is a silver lining, it is that it did bring us together. Some of us are workaholics, and we don't know how to stop. And if it weren't for this. I don't think it would have happened, to be honest. And so it gave us individually time, and I hope it did with a lot of people. And I love when I hear close friends that like leaned into new passions or new directions during such a questionable time. Because during that tough time, sometimes it's easy to just go dark, and like we leaned into like each other and spent the time pulling some of those old ideas from the back shelf. And then the creative juices were just flowing. It's a comfortable space to be in when we're all in the same room. And before we knew it, within about 2 months, we had enough material for a full length.
Yeah.
And just to have the time enabled us to do it. So it was a long-winded answer to yes. It was that's what brought us together.
Yeah, good. Yeah. And you're on tour later in the year, and in the fall. Bet you can't wait to be kind of doing a full run again.
Oh, it's so this is the busiest and most active Alexisonfire has been in, I'd say, over a decade. Obviously since 2015, we've been kind of popping out and doing some festivals, and we dropped a few singles, and it's been very meaningful. And because it's been so good and it's felt so good collectively, like internally within the band, it's created this desire to do more with it. And then hence a new record, and then with that, and finding a way for all of it, because we all have our individual lives back at home as well, but we're finding a manageable way to still do what we love and not burn ourselves out, but be busy with it. So we just, in March, kind of started the touring cycle down in South America, and we're in it now, and we're going to be busy until about December now, which is great, yeah.
And what's 2023 holding for you? Do you think it's going to be touring? Do you think you'll be releasing more music, or what's the idea?
Hopefully both, to tell you the truth. I would say the beginning of 2023, we're not looking too far in advance at the moment, but there are definitely markets that we want to go visit, for sure. And I was just talking with Dallas the other day, and there is a bunch of material that is still tucked away on a deeper back shelf that and we have old demos of that are have potential, and that's the kind of zest that keeps us going. Is like obviously it's all inclusive. We love performing live. It's like nothing can be said about that energy of that symbiotic energy. It goes both ways. And when wherever you are in the world, and if you're in a 400 cap room or you're at a big festival, it's that same feeling, and so that's special. But equally as special is just when there's 5 of us in a room writing and recording and kind of figuring things out. That part of doing it is like definitely keeps us going. So 2023, I would hope there would be more music.
And I hope you enjoyed the interview there with Alexisonfire from a Slam Dunk Festival 2022. And that's the end of the show for another week, I am afraid. But don't you worry, we will be back next week with more interviews coming your way. But if you can't wait until then, social media at The Sound Lab, yes, on all the socials. And also check out the website, thesoundlabuk.co.uk. That is it, I'm afraid, for another week. So we will see you again next week for another episode of Interviews Unedited. Goodbye.